Hail and greetings all, Ragnarok Prepper here, and it's that time of year again. We've been harvesting the hot peppers off, and we have our habaneros, our ghost peppers, our Carolina Reapers, and jalapenos. And what I want to do now is start fermenting them so that I can create some hot sauce. Now this journey began last year, was the first time I fermented peppers. So I'm going to be expanding on what I've learned, and we're going to make some changes. Add some things, maybe experiment on some flavor depth. It was good peppers though. The sauce was awesome. I had no complaints. So the first thing we're going to need is our peppers. And as you can see, I spared you the time and sliced them up so we're ready to go. But be sure that when you're slicing your peppers, you wash them, as we don't want any wild contaminants. And also, wear gloves. These peppers are hot, and the capsaicin that will be covered on your fingers can come back to haunt you when you least expect it. So the first thing we're going to do is get our fermentation jars. Now you don't need a special jar to do this. I do like these. I started trying them last year. It's the ball fermentation kit. It comes with a lid that has a burper in it that will let the gas build up, release from the jar without you having to burp it manually. It also comes with a fermentation spring, which pushes down on the pepper and keeps them under the liquid brine. So it's just handy to have that. If you don't have that, never fear. A mason jar, any type of lid will work. And you could even fill baggies with water to submerge. They sell ceramic glass weights for fermentation as well that you could purchase. But I like what I have. So let's go ahead. Let me get my gloves on. And I'm going to go ahead and take out the fermentation spring. Now you do want to make sure that you sterilize all of your equipment before you begin. That way you don't have any wild contamination, as we are working with a active fermentation here. Anything that gets mixed in, any bacteria, could overwhelm your fermentation and result in a spoilage, which, knock on wood, doesn't happen to you. So I'm going to go ahead and in our first jar, I'm going to fill it with ghost peppers. Now there isn't an actual number here that you need for your recipe. It's what you have and what you can fit in the jar, honestly. Our ghost peppers were a little lacking with what I have left to ferment, but that's all right. We soldier on. In the next jar, I'm going to go ahead and put the Reapers. I was very excited to get a hold of the Reapers this year. Can't wait to see what we can come up with them. Now when you're slicing your peppers, you just want a rough cut. You're really working on surface area here. You're not making rings or any fancy culinary experiment here. You're just trying to increase the surface area of your peppers to allow the bacteria to ferment. Now habaneros, we got a ton of them this year. So if you have a lot of your pepper, don't be afraid to smash them down, squish them in there, because you're going to want to get that surface area exposed. And you'll see when we get the weights in that they'll push push down nicely as well. And I didn't try last year to make jalapeno hot sauce, but it's one of my wife's favorite peppers. So we're going to go ahead and make some of that this year. Now there are various things that you can add to enhance, change the flavor of your hot sauce fermentations. And one of the most common additives are garlic and onion. So what I want to try and do this year is definitely add in some garlic. I'm a big fan of garlic. And so I think it's going to do great things with the sauce. So I'm just going to go ahead and scoop in 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. And we're almost done. But it's all about surface area and getting as much space for that bacteria to ferment and change and enhance the flavor of your pepper. So another common additive is celery. So especially in the ghost pepper, I'm going to add some celery. I'm going to add a little bit into the Reaper as well. Just so I have more of a fermentation base. To work off of. Alright, so one more step, and that's to create our brine. A very simple brine recipe is 1 quart of water to 3 tablespoons of salt. Now you want to make sure, especially for you folks that live on the grid in the city, you do not want to use chlorinated water. It will kill the fermentation. So, make sure you're using a non-chlorinated water source, and then you're going to want to add, per quart of water, 3 tablespoons of salt. You don't want to use an iodized salt. I'm using this Himalayan pink here. Let me go ahead and mix up a second quart. Just in case. It's always better to have some extra. You can save it and use it for other preservation methods than to not have enough. So I'm going to go ahead and shake up our brine here. Get that salt mixed into that water. Some people recommend boiling. If you do boil your salt water brine, please make sure that before you add it to the peppers, you let it cool to room temperature. You do not want any excessive heat or cold on your fermentation. It will kill the active bacteria in your fermentation, and you'll also result in a spoiled fermentation. So I have my brine. Go ahead, and all I'm going to do is go ahead and take the lid off, and we're going to fill it up. We want enough brine in each jar to completely cover the peppers and the fermentation material. So I'm going to say that looks good there. In our reaper jar, go ahead and add some to the ghost pepper jar. Into our habanero jar. Habanero jar. As you can see, I'm going to need a little more brine on that one. Alright, so now that we have all of our fermentations covered in brine, we want to go ahead and put the lid on. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to take these lids here, this fermentation spring, you're going to put the great end onto your pepper. And what you're going to want to do is make sure that everything gets submerged. And that's going to happen as you push down on the spring. The key is to go ahead and seat your lid properly. There you go. And as you can see, all the peppers are submerged underneath the spring. The air bubbles are coming out. And fermentation will begin. After we get our lids on, we'll go ahead and set them into a pantry. It's going to maintain a nice 70-degree temperature. And we'll let it sit for a couple of weeks. What I normally do is I'll take a piece of tape and put it on the side of the jar, telling me when the fermentation should be done. Fermentations can last really as long as you like the flavor. Once this starts getting going, you'll notice the active bubbles inside the jar. From there, fermentation has begun, and you can sample it as you see fit. Usually I like to let mine sit about 4 to 6 weeks. That seems to give a good flavor. I've seen some recipes recommend as little as 2 weeks. I like it a little bit richer than that. I've seen some people that ferment their product for years. So it's really a matter of taste and a matter of preference. But I'll keep you posted as this fermentation journey continues. And until next we meet, be well.